What's up, Lowrider family? Welcome back to another episode on Lowlowsandmore. Now, today, part two of installing the rack. As you guys remember, last time, for some reason I didn't think of it, but it was too long to try and fit it in. Lately, I've had luck to where I can build the racks outside of the cars and then slip them in fairly easy. But that's not going to happen on this one. So what I talked about last time is I'm going to go ahead, cut it straight in the middle. I'm going to cut out a small 2 pieces of angle, weld it to the bottom, and then bolt it together once this is in, and then I'm still going to weld it. So I'm going to do that here real quick. So let's get today started. On this video, I should be finishing off the Monte Carlo. I didn't get any requests of anybody wanting to see how the wiring's done, because I think I did a good job in a Cadillac, but I don't know. I'll slip some of it in there, but it's pretty easy because on this one the homeboy brought me a 10 switch box already pre-wired, so all we gotta do is run wire the trunk, to the dumps, to the solenoids, and the 24-volt switch wire, and that's pretty much it. So that it's pretty easy in the trunk, but I'll show a little bit, I guess. So let me get started. Let me cut this in half, cut 2 pieces of angle real quick, and be right back right before I weld it straight into the trunk. So yeah, be right back. Okay, I got the rack cut in half, and I welded the angle that I said I was going to weld on there. So I don't know if you guys can kind of see from here. You can see it has a bolt on it. So, got it in place. So right now I got 2 different pieces of tubing. This is rectangle. I think it's 1 by 1.5 or 2. And then this one, I think it's 1.5 by 1.5 square tubing. So I was just sitting in place, seeing, which is the best choice to have in the rack. Because what I'm looking at right now is that due to the way the trunk is, let's see if I can explain it. But once you cut your holes right above the frame, there is a seam on the body itself that you can't really cut through without really weakening the rest of the trunk, the body, or the chassis, whatever you want to call it. There's that seam. You can cut through it, but I didn't want to cut through it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this tubing on this side and that tubing on that side, just because of that seam's in the way, and it'll fit perfectly. And there's nothing wrong with using 2 different types of tubing for the posts. There's nothing wrong with that. Because it's still going to be nice and sturdy in there. It's not going to be weak. So I got it sitting in there nice. Plenty of room right here. I don't know if you guys remember, but the old rack would hit the nuts right here would hit right up here, and it was just a pain to unscrew those. So I have some tubing pieces back there to help me level it out. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go ahead and level the rack itself, and then I'm gonna make my measurements for the posts. So I'm gonna cut out 4 posts and then start welding. One good thing about the MC, there's plenty of room underneath to weld. Here, this is what I mean. I have to clean it up a little bit, but I can get my hand and my welding torch right here. I got plenty of room, so I can weld right here perfectly. So that's a good thing. And then I'll be able to get a little bit on the side. So I'll be able to do that without too many complications. So I'm gonna do my measurements real quick on how I'm gonna have this thing sitting in here, and then it'll be time to almost weld it in place. But before I do weld it in place, I am gonna weld the seam right here, and I'm gonna sand it down, grind it down, so that the pump sits flush right there. So let me get started on this part of the process, and we'll be back after I got my posts welded to the tubing right here on the side the way it is right now. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, I got the rack in place. I got the posts tacked on. It fit perfectly on the first try. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take the rack out, weld it up completely, because everything right now is tacked together. So I'm gonna weld everything completely, and while I have everything out, I am gonna put a piece of square tubing from here to here. That way it stays more stronger. That way it doesn't decide to bend, you know, around this area on the battery tray like it kind of did before. So I'm gonna do that. Square tubing there, and then I'll put it back in and weld it right there on that seam, and grind that weld down so that's nice and flat. You know, and then I'm almost done with it really. And then after I weld it into place, I'm gonna go ahead and probably paint the entire trunk before I go any further. So let me get it all welded and then weld it into place, and then we'll be right back. It's gonna take me a little bit, but yeah, almost there. I am gonna clean off the rust as much as I can, so be right back. Alright, I got the rack in to weld it into place. Welded it and then grinded down the weld right there, so it's nice and smooth right there now. Rack is completely welded together and down. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and make the hold downs. Last thing I want to do is make the hold downs last. So I'm gonna take care of those real quick. I'm gonna throw the batteries in here. You know, that way I can free up some space on the floor, anyways. After that, I'm gonna go ahead and start drilling the holes for the pumps to mount, and then I'm gonna mount the solenoids along the back over here. I'm gonna do that too. So let me get going on that stuff, and then afterwards we can start doing the wiring. But I think what I want to do before I start throwing the batteries and the solenoids, I'm gonna go ahead and finish painting the trunk. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that, and we'll be right back after I do some little things here and there. Alright guys, I got the rack in. Make sure to get yourself one of these. Hell yeah. Welded into place. Painted the rest of the trunk. Test fitted the batteries to fit perfectly on both sides. I don't know if you guys can tell, but the batteries kind of sit at an angle like they used to, but I just tested it. I looked over again, so the battery trays, if you guys remembered, there was no extra support on those battery trays, and within time, since they were bending, they kind of stayed that way. So right now, as I'm looking at that battery tray, it looks a little bent downward to the side. I guess I should have just made some new ones, but I guess it kind of makes it look like it was before, but actually made properly, if you know what I mean. So I got the hold downs drying right now. I painted them. So for tomorrow, I should do the wiring, mount the pumps, swap the gears from the pumps from one to another, and then I think this thing's pretty much done. And then from now, I'll just have little odds and end things to do. I know I need to still install one of the, I need to install the, what's it called? The adjustable trailing arms on this. That's super easy. I don't think I need to show you guys that. I'm not extending anything. It's just going to be at stock length, the one that I'm putting in. So I don't think that's worth putting on this video, but you guys understand, right? That's just super easy. You're just swapping parts, really. So I lost the sun, so we'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, it's day number 2. My bad, I didn't drop the video yesterday, which would have been Sunday. My kid was sick and I didn't want to take him out. Thanks for those that said for him to get well soon. He's doing a little better than yesterday with the bad cough. Today his mom is watching him right now. She didn't work today, so I get to work on a Monte Carlo on a Monday since I have this week off. So I'm gonna show you right now what I got going on. I started doing the wiring. I already ran the ground to the frame and ran it to this battery right here, so I got enough wire for that. And then I also ran a wire to jump from this bank to that bank. Right now, I got all the eyelets on the switch wire. I mounted the solenoids on the back. I'm gonna mount the wiring block right up over here on top of the wheel well. You know, it won't look ugly. But right now the trunk's coming along pretty good. So yeah, let me continue doing the wiring, and then I will get back and show you guys what I'm doing so far. But on the wiring, since this is only a three pump setup right here, and I'm using the box, the 10 switch box that the homie brought with the car. You can see that I have these two wires right here together because it's a 3 pump setup. Now if it was a 4 pump setup, then these would be individual, and I would run it on a 9 slot wiring block. This is 8, so just because it's a 3 pump setup. If it was a 4 pump setup, then you would have to use a 9 slot block like this. But yeah, that's the only thing that I wanted to bring up real quick. Yeah, so today I should be done with the car. I gotta finish the wiring and then install the upper adjustable trailing arms right there. I don't think I'm gonna show you guys to install it because that's pretty simple. So some brain dead stuff right there. Brain dead. Can't speak today. I'm just trying to keep in the zone and keep going. But this is where I'm at right now. So let me get going on what I got in my head right now. Then I'll show you what I've gotten done so far. One thing I think I did forget to mention is when you're cutting the holes in your trunk, make sure that they're big enough so you can fit your welding tool, torch, whatever you want to call it, in there so you can weld pretty good on there. Some of you might say, you know, the holes are too big, or, you know, well, at the same time, you got to remember, you got to have that extra room to weld. You know, if you always wanted to, you can go back, cut out a piece of sheet metal with some cutting shears, some hand cutting shears, and just pretty much put it there with some double-sided tape, and you won't have to worry about anything coming in or coming out of your trunk. So yeah, I mean, I think I'll be done with this today, so after I get done with everything, I am gonna go ahead and chop these springs so the car can sit as low as it did when the car was first brought to me. So enough of me talking, let me get going. Alright everybody, it's getting dark again, and once again I failed myself on trying to finish this thing on this video. So let me show you what I got going on. So as you can see, this is where I'm at right now. I ran the wires mounted over there. I have it tucked underneath the rack already, the wiring. And these wires right here that you see popping out, these are the dump wires, so it's long cables, so I can tie them in with the dumps once the pumps are sitting in there. Like I was explaining earlier, I made this the jump cable from one bank to another, tucked underneath here, but not quite yet, because I want to get the pumps on before I tuck the big wire underneath that big bar. So I got all the batteries pretty much wired together. This battery is a bad battery. It won't charge anymore, so the homie's gonna have to get a new one. But yeah, this is where I'm at now, because so I was swapping the gears and the motor to the front pump that I have set up. I know I should have done this before I reassembled the dumps, but whatever. Let's see, where is it at? So the front pump originally had, damn, I'm losing my mind. It had this motor here. It's a decent motor, but not good for the front. And it had this gear in it. As you guys can recognize, it's one of those small, dinky little gears. Now this gear was only mounted to the block by 2 bolts right here. 1, 2. This is where the spline goes, and that's the pressure out, and this is the return right here. And then I went ahead, took off this gear, the number 7 gear. That's a good brand. Make sure you guys fuck with these. But when I took it off of this one, some blocks are different, but on this one, this gear was mounted with all 6 bolts on this block. So from going from 6 bolts to only 2 bolts, and I went through my garage looking for bolts, but apparently I don't have these. I'm gonna have to go get 4 shorter bolts. I mean, I could cut them, but I don't want to cut them. I gotta go get 4 short bolts. Let's see, and then flip them around the other way, but without this washer right here, without it. And then this hex right here, I'll show you. The hex will just sit in there. See that? And then you bolt it, put your nut on this side. So it's late, the hardware store's already closed. I don't want to drive miles just for a few nuts and bolts. So another fail to my day. And the day just goes by so fast. It's like what in the hell did I do today? But I mean, I was doing a lot of little dinky stuff here and there to get it right. So this is where I'm at now. It's not a problem. It's an easy fix, you can say. It's not even a real fix, but just gotta get bolts. Anyways, I do gotta get bolts for these pumps to mount on the new bar that I have for them. Because on the bar that these originally came with, the bar was thinner in the middle. So gotta get new bolts for those. Oh man. Oh, well, I was hoping to finish it up this weekend so I can clean up my mess and get ready for the next project. But like always, something always happens. Since I don't have pumps to raise the front to get it out of the driveway, out of my parents' place, I'm gonna have to somehow let me convince my parents to let me park the Monte right where this Hyundai is. Oh man, I know they don't want to see it here, but oh well. And I can't come back to work on it until I think Wednesday or Thursday. So, oh well, I tried, you know. Oh well. Man, feels such like a failure today, but what can I do? Well, I'm gonna end the video here, guys. Sorry, it was pretty much like a waste of a video. Not much I can tell you on what to do and stuff like that. It's because you're just mainly running wiring, you know, and then doing little things here and there is what took up my time. So, oh, man, why is that? Oh well, I'm gonna end it. Hopefully you guys liked it. If you didn't, I don't blame you. It was a boring ass video of another fail of not completing the MC. I mean, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. But what can I do? Well, alright, people. Like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to share the channel. Share the channel. That'll help me out. Alright, guys. If you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to email me right here. If you don't want to ask me down in the comments, email me. Alright. Peace, everybody.